part 1 of the big terrarium build.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Or if you're new, my name is Rose and this is Maggie. Both of our pronouns are she, her. And today we're gonna talk about my big terrarium. This is part 1 of my big terrarium build. I'm gonna do it in different parts because there is so much to show you that I thought it would be too much to put in one video, unfortunately. Before we get started, it's actually really helpful if you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss the next parts of this build. Enough chatting, let's jump back to August when this whole thing started.
So I've had a few sleepless nights because a few days ago on a Dutch eBay version, I found an amazing huge terrarium for sale. So I immediately said I would love to buy it and we can pick it up this weekend, not realizing that it is so big it won't fit into my car or my boyfriend's car or even my friends' cars. I asked a lot of them. So I had to figure out how to get this terrarium to our house safely. It's about an hour's drive. So I rented a van. We're picking up our van. I think it's that one. It's really big. It's actually even one size bigger than the one I was pointing to. We're in this huge, oh, there's no window. In this huge van. It's definitely enough space for the terrarium. Welcome in Holland. We're so high up in this car, in this van, that it's like looking down on people, waving like the Queen. Oh, we're going into a tunnel now. Hello, my constituents.
2 hours later.
I didn't film anything. We just got the terrarium. I don't know if you can see, I'm super sweaty already. It is huge. We got it safely in the van. We had 2 people from this area help us out that I met through Facebook, so I'm super grateful to them, Mike and Arjen. Thank you so much. And now I'm just gonna say goodbye to Fiona and her dad. Everything is in the big terrarium with the windows inside, the underneath cupboard thing, and then the cart that we used to roll it. It went so smoothly, what? Let's go! On the way back, same story as before, lots of rain. And the sun is back, woohoo! Boyfriend is the best driver. I'm so happy that he's willing to help us. And I can't wait to get this big, huge terrarium into our house. We're almost home and we have 2 neighbor friends ready to help us lift the terrarium into the house. I'm gonna try and film this time the moving because it was really in a stranger's home with 2 other strangers and I needed to use all my hands, so it wasn't really possible to film. I'm too late again with the terrarium, but this is the base that they're carrying inside, and this is Mickey. Is the terrarium. It's almost as tall as me. Returning the cart to the Bosrand. Thank you, beautiful van. You did amazing. Woo, bye. All right, the terrarium is in our living room. I rested because all the social interactions and all the stress and car rides were really tiring. I still have some symptoms from my brain injury. If you missed it, I have a video here that you can check to see what happened. I got injured while plant shopping. I'm gonna try and clean this properly because at the top here there is some business with disgusting old tape and just also, yeah, disgustingness. And then inside, this used to be a python's home and there's still bits everywhere in the corners as well that we need to clean out. I'm not quite sure yet what I'm gonna do with the separation. I think it doesn't matter because there's gonna be soil in there and stuff. Oh, and then the back seems to have been decorated with like basically this, a laminate flooring plates that are silicone kitted to the back of the terrarium, which is glass. So I don't know if I'm gonna try and take those out because I'm planning to make a back wall anyway. If you have any thoughts on whether we should leave it in or not, let us know in the comments. By the time you watch this, it might already be done. While I was sleeping, my boyfriend fixed up this bottom part. Hey Mickey! It was really gross as well because of course that terrarium had been sitting in here for many years, I think. It's quite sturdy. He sanded it a little bit and we're gonna spray it black once again so that it's nice and even. and it needs new wheels. It's gonna go here. We were actually planning to have it go upstairs, but then realized later that it doesn't fit through our small stairwell. So now we're gonna have it in the kitchen, which is actually better because this is quite a dark place. You might see from my face as well. And especially in this corner, there is no natural light here. So it's gonna look amazing with a beautiful terrarium standing out in the darkness. I started with the vacuum to get some shit out. I took off the grid because it was half loose anyway, and there's a lot of disgusting stuff here in the silicone kit. And since this was home to a python, I'm guessing there were some cruel things to little animals happening in there, which we don't want to talk about or think about. But I am going to use some Palo Santo to clean out the negative energy or the scared energy from this box. That might sound a bit weird to you, but I am a yoga teacher after all and raised by two very spiritual parents. So the power of nature is always good to use, I think. This is just like incense, only a different shape. Then back to scraping off old silicone and cleaning. I first cleaned it with this really, really strong cleaner because there's so much gunk on there, especially on the back of the terrarium. They have birds where this terrarium used to live, so there was a lot of bird poop at the back of the terrarium. And they couldn't move it to clean it, so I don't blame them. It was too heavy to move and the wheels were broken, but still, gross. Mickey is fascinated what is happening. I'm trying to get the laminate out. Pulling as hard as I can. I don't know if you can see this, but need some help. Oh shit. Oh, I was so afraid that I was gonna break it. One. I'm sweating. I'm trying to get the laminate out of the back since I got a few responses on Instagram from terrarium builders saying that this is gonna rot. So I'm pulling these off. It's really intense. And now that the first one is off, it might be a little bit easier. But I'm so scared to break this whole thing. It's quite freaky. Another one. Okay, it's all out, which means that I can now actually clean properly, see how much python shit still left in the corners. So now I can clean that properly, maybe try and soak these last bits, but I'm gonna make a new backsplash anyway, so it doesn't matter that it doesn't look pretty. Whew. I don't know if you could hear those noises, but that was pretty intense. I am literally sweating, my fingers are a little bit bruised. But we did it! 2 minutes later, I just carried the boards outside and they were so heavy. Now the terrarium is a little bit lighter. I also bought new wheels for underneath the cart. Let me actually show you because it's already on there. My boyfriend is super fast. Here it is. Look how smooth. This is awesome. With little blocks like brakes. And these wheels are just from the DIY shop. And it feels very smooth to roll it around.
3 days later.
Look at this huge bag. This is my pumice stones that we just found here in Hilversum at Sprong paint shop. We basically bought all of their stock, but if you look at old quality paint shops, you might find it as well. It's called pumice stone, or in Dutch, puimsteen, or in German, Bimstein.
4 to 6 weeks later.
Yes, I'm still working on the terrarium. Ooh, and I got a big box in with some supplies. So let's open it together. The people from orchids.nl, where I usually buy all my supplies anyway, are kindly sponsoring these supplies for the terrarium. Thank you guys so much. I'll talk about it a little bit later because it's not yet time to start planting. This is all the stuff that I requested. Horticultural charcoal, tree farm, pieces, some different sizes of bark and moss. Maggie is fascinated.
Several days later.
Currently it looks like this temporary setup of one of the LED bars, one stick in there that has nothing on it, and then here we have the plants, a few Hoyas, beautiful queen, a Reggie, the Regal that is struggling a lot, I think from the bright light that I had in here before. Down there some detail plants that are coming in later. Down there Villanorum, Baby Magnificum hybrid, the silver blush. On this side, Matte, the Metallicum that is struggling a little bit. Here's the silver blush, Beauty. Down here we have two philodendron propagations. Ooh, I sound very echoey. Here's my Luxuriance Radicans hybrid, probably, that is getting also way too much light. And then Alfonso, the Forgetti, that you can't really see because his leaves have gone out to the side a lot. In here, some Hoya propagations that are just in here temporary. Some detail plants again, down there, ferns and stuff. And this Margravia, which doesn't like the lesser humidity, it seems. On the other side is also Margravia. Nice! Boyfriend, helping. Just lowered the audio of this to explain what we're doing. These are some really nice, big, but old and dusty looking floating rocks made for in aquariums that I got very cheap because they were so old. We're hollowing them out in order to be little pots for the plants to live on the walls. Woo! Trying to figure out how to set up all the branches and lianas that I have in combination with the beautiful plants that I have. And this is what we came to for now. Queen would sit there. And then we have some of the weird lianas everywhere. I think I'm going to use this piece of cork to grow the Metallicum out of. So that will be hopefully a little bit better visible. And then all the little flobby flimsies to grow little plants in. Boyfriend doesn't like this many sticks, so I might have to lose a few. Let me know what you think in the comments. It's finally time for the background build, which I've been looking forward to for a long time. First, we made sure that the background was really clean and grease removed so that the silicone would stick. The setup without being kitted down, what do you call it? Glued down. We have the big queen thingy there, Regal thingy there. Metallicum is going to sit there in the cork, and then some bigger rocks to grow plants on. We're leaving the top layer open for now because it's also quite practical if we need to do cords or something. But maybe we can plant little plants on the top there, maybe even bromeliads. And I'm leaving the bottom open as well because that's where the soil is going to sit, of course. All right, let's do it. Let's do it.
What follows is a brief construction montage.
On the left here in the reflection, you can actually see my boyfriend putting the kit on the first piece, which I thought was funny. I had to go to the shop to get like 6 more jars of kit, and now we're gonna continue.
This way of building a background is a method that is created by Planted Glass Boxes on Instagram. His name is Justin, and he actually has a workshop about this whole process. So if you want to know it in more detail, it's a $50 workshop. Send him a DM and he will send you all the information. This is why I don't feel comfortable sharing more about how I did this, because I don't want to give his method away for free, if that makes sense.
24 hours later.
Now it's time for the scariest part. We're gonna lift the terrarium up and hopefully the stones are glued in properly and they don't fall down. It worked! All of them stayed on. Can you believe it? I put the first few plants in here just so that they can get a little bit, hopefully, of humidity and that we can see how it's gonna look. This one is gonna go here, which I am a little bit worried about it being quite close to the light. The regale is gonna go in, look how beautiful, in here, even though that's quite a small hole, so we'll see how that goes. And then forgetty, I was thinking maybe I can put it up here, which looks very nice, but then again, it's very close to the light and I don't wanna bleach my anthuriums too much. And if you don't know what bleached plants look like, these are my Anthurium crystallinums that live in this box that now that they're quite big, they're quite close to the grow light, plus they have gotten quite a lot of sun through the roof light that they sit under. So you can see the colors. This is super light green. This one is also still, you can't see it because it's really dark outside today, very gloomy and rainy. This is also still very light compared to maybe this is a more normal color and still not very dark for crystallinums, for anthuriums. So that's what they look like when they are bleached. I think it's time to pot the queen into her pot in the corner there. I'm very scared to do this because this will make it quite permanent and I hope that she'll be okay with the transition. Maybe the light is better this way, the grow light, showing you the queen one last time out of her terrarium. There's a little bug on there as well, a larva of cryptos ladybugs that eat mealybugs. It's a very active on there.
A few moments later.
So I did a thing. The roots were quite big, so I cut off the base and I'm letting it dry now. Hopefully that's going to be okay. I should spray some hydrogen peroxide 3% on it just to be sure. But then this will be able to grow in here, and I have a little base plant that I put in that terrarium just as a backup because you never know what happens in a terrarium. But also it just fits much better. So fingers crossed. I guess the second plant is the regale. I unpotted him and I recently actually cut him back in the same way that I just did my queen. So this is much more easy to do, I guess. This is gonna go in here. So let me put you up close so you can see what I'm doing. I'm gonna put some horticultural charcoal, which is sponsored by orchids.nl, just as something instead of leca that's also purifying as well as a little bit chunky. And then this is hopefully gonna all fit in there. Should be okay. I have to make sure that I turn it the way around that we have the new most beautiful leaves facing forward, because the other two I think didn't like it as much in the super highlight terrarium. Actually burned some of the leaves. And I think that we're gonna lose these pretty quickly. But first, the soil mix. Also all sponsored by orchids.nl, so thank you so much, you guys. Tree fern fibers, and then big chunks of bark, small chunks of bark, and some horticultural charcoal. I might also mix some moss into it, but I'm not quite sure yet about that part. First plant going in, Reggie. How does it feel to be the first, Reggie? This is your new home, Reggie. I hope you really like it. It's gonna be beautiful. It's all made for you guys. And then at the top, I don't know if you guys do this, but I do this for all my anthuriums. I put some moss around the base and it helps to protect those roots and also help it grow more roots. Mickey is a little bit loud. Mickey! That's it. The first plant is officially in. And it's Reggie, which I'm very happy about because he is my first beautiful anthurium and one of my favorites, of course. Alfonso is next, going up here. I don't know if that will be too bright for him, but we're just gonna try it out because it does look amazing up there. So first some horticultural charcoal. Ooh. Then the plant. New soil. Oh, sorry, Reggie. Lastly, again, some moss around the base to keep the aerial roots happy, keep the humidity up. Hopefully he's gonna adjust well. Yeah. Go, Alfonso. The cut has dried a little bit. I don't want to let it dry too long because then the roots may dry out as well. So we're gonna pot it up. Something like this. So all the plants that needed to be planted first are in now. It's been a few days since I last filmed because I wanted the terrarium to settle in a little bit, the plants to settle in a little bit. But today we're going to install the fans. These are amazing, actually really beautiful as well, computer fans that I will link down below. They are also on my Amazon storefront. And then this is the new grow light that I'm testing out by Mother, and it's called Plant Spectrum 32. This light was kindly gifted to me for this terrarium and this video by Mother Life, so check them out. Thank you guys so much. Here it is. It's a super stylish light. It's like even the packaging is like an Apple product. It's beautiful. And I've heard very good stories about it. It came highly recommended. So that's the other thing we're gonna install today. Because I was gonna use these LED button that I really like and use in my other terrariums and shelves and everything. By the way, how cute is this? I bought them for my mom. But they are not strong enough. The light is not very bright for this distance. And also they're very wide. So if we install them here, they take up a lot of space. It looks quite ugly compared to this one, which is going to be very thin but also beautiful. And the new ones are going to be strong enough to light all the way down here properly, as well as the back. Plus it is waterproof or water resistant, which is nice in a high humidity environment. And it came so highly recommended by someone who builds terrariums for a living, Sander, who's been advising me. So I definitely trusted his advice, and that is why I reached out to them. So I'm very excited about this next step. Time to put the light holders in with some silicone, and we put some Vaseline on the wood so it hopefully doesn't stick forever. We measured out where the light will come so that it fits, and as low as I can go and a little bit around. Okay, that looks good. Now we're gonna put the glue thingies on, but we need 4 hands, so we'll see you after. We also installed the fans in a temporary way, but I'm sure the plants will love it, just with some tie wraps and then through the holes with a little stick at the top. This is what the new light looks like finished. As you can see, it almost disappears behind the door frame, which we love, and you see these little bits which are not super pretty, but we did that because we wanted a little bit more space between the light and the glass, just to make sure that it doesn't burn it. They do also offer wall mounts that are a lot more pretty and designer, like everything they offer, but for us, just to make sure that we didn't get heat damage to the glass, to the windows, we did this setup.
If you have any questions about this build so far, let me know in the comments below. As always, I try to do my best to answer them there or make another video to answer your questions. And that is it for this first part. In part 2, I'm gonna be putting in the soil mix, which I have already done, so it shouldn't be too long before that video is live. And we're gonna start planting all the baby plants, which is what I'm doing today. It's super exciting. So wish me luck, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching, friends. Bye!